Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman. So you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and hit and miss. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on, and welcome back to the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis.
This Key, Melly Mack in the house,
and we are back with another live episode. This is the pre-game episode. This is the one where we talk about who we gonna whoop on this coming Sunday. With that being said, we gonna hop into stuff we heard.
Stuff we heard.
All right, let's get to it. Let's get it running. Before we get started, I just want to apologize to everybody watching. We did get here a little bit late. I had another podcast that I was a part of before this, so it's my fault. Don't blame them at all. Other than that, let's get it cracking.
Hey, yes, sure.
Who we got?
What you got, Mel? You heard anything?
Just some good news.
What good news you hear? We need some of that.
Mr. Daquan will be playing, and Mr. Hyde will be back.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Daquan. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Daquan back.
I'm excited to see what Daquan do for this defense.
Yeah, man.
It was that defensive line was nasty when he was playing.
We'll see what he does. We'll see how much time he gets on the field though, because you gotta
Ramp him up.
Yeah, you gotta ramp him up. You gotta curb your expectations and let the man go through what he's going through in order to get where we need him to be. Obviously we played well without him. Linval Joseph was a sturdy replacement at the time. But yeah, just having the number 5 defensive tackle in the league by Pro Football Focus metrics, having them back would be great.
Yeah, I don't expect him just to come right back into like tip top shape neither. It's gonna take a while for him to get back to that level again. But I'm excited that he's back, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with Linval Joseph. He's done a decent job, but I think for where Daquan Jones was on third downs, he was right up there with Ed Oliver, and Ed Oliver has been taking his game to the next level with Daquan Jones hurt. As far as the double teams that he's seen this year and his ability to get it in and around and through them. So I'm very excited to see what'll happen with a healthy. Geez, my English again. It's gonna take me like a good 5 minutes before my tongue starts working the way it's supposed to.
You doing your exercises before you got in here?
I did
right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all that stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I'm excited to see what Daquan Jones can do. Even with limited reps, even if he's in there for 5 to 10 reps, I'll take it. I still want to see what happens.
Yeah, I just don't think he's. Obviously he's not. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. He shouldn't start. We'll say that he shouldn't start.
Yeah, I don't think.
And you got to understand with the torn pec, that's his bread and butter. That's like taking one of the wheels away from Tyreek Hill. In a sense, because you got to look at what he does. He uses his chest. He presses all the time, and with a torn pec, just coming back and playing is going to be crazy. But to try to take on a double team, he's a space eater right now for sure. I wouldn't expect him to make a huge impact right away. He's going to be wearing a harness, and there is risk of re-injury. Obviously, if they're going to let him play, it's not a great one.
Right.
But it was a hurry back for the injury. So let's just see what happens.
Okay. Did y'all hear the Von Miller statement?
Which one? I listened to you talking about the press conference? No,
well, I think it was. I don't know if it was like a press conference setting. It was just kind of a statement.
Oh no, this was a press conference.
Oh no.
Okay.
Just the one where he talked about. This might have been on the news, not like an actual Bills press conference, but he kind of talked about how the stuff with him and his girlfriend was overblown, and what y'all think about that?
Well, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I can tell you, in a press conference, he said, it's just what happens. Everybody's had issues with their woman or boyfriend, and he said sometimes life be lifing,
Right.
Yeah. So obviously there's things he can't talk about, and so I respect that, and there's things that I don't want to muddy or influence. So I'll err on the side of not commenting too much about it until we know it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Or, for whatever reason, any more information comes out, which I don't think will happen until it is all said and done.
Okay. Mac, what you got?
Kind of like with Keyshawn, man. Like I've heard so many type of these stuff happens with basically people who are famous, whether you are a movie star, actor, sports figure, whatever. I try to lean on the side of caution to where you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
Like these are allegations, is what they're saying, but we don't know what the situation is until he have his day in court and all that other stuff and all the legal stuff, ramifications is taken care of. So I just wait to see what the court says. If he's found guilty, if he's found innocent, whatever the ruling is.
Okay. I'll offer my thought on it because I think I went a little deeper than usual with this one. And my thought on it is this. If you can remember statements that Marshawn Lynch made after, his legal situation, if you can remember statements that Marcel Darius made after his situation, usually when there was this kind of a statement after an allegation, it was kind of an indication that the player was going to be okay. And what that tells me is the Bills have established a pattern of they don't let the player say anything until they figure out what's really going on and they have a handle on everything.
Well,
and huh?
No, go ahead.
And I think, based on what I've seen from the Bills, to me, this becomes a clear indicator that Von Miller is going to be okay legally, right? You look at Matt Araiza. I think that was a clear indicator of what they do when they think something is off.
Right.
When
they don't have the answer.
Right. When if they feel like they can't get to the bottom of it, they're not getting answers from the player. They can't find immediate answers, from the investigators or the police or whoever. We're going to have to let you go, man.
Yeah.
We can't take the chance of something else coming out with this that's going to blindside us. So we're just going to cut ties right here. And Matt Araiza ended up being found, innocent and all charges were dropped or whatever. But that's how I arrived at the conclusion. Okay, it's not necessarily about the verdict or what they think might likely be the verdict,
right,
but just more so of can they make sure that they are able to stay in front of this thing, right? So and this is just my opinion based on the patterns that I've seen the Bills have, but I do think from us hearing Von Miller speak out about his situation now, to me it comes off as a clear indicator that he's going to be okay.
Well, I can tell you the difference in the two other instances. You're talking about the Darius drag racing and Marshawn Lynch on Chippewa.
Yep.
The only difference is, and this is a huge one, it is the Texas caveat.
Texas?
Yeah. Anything that happened, all the charges can't be dropped. So Texas doesn't just forgive because she says it was false or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's a huge caveat. Texas, that's the problem. It happened in Texas.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the girl made a statement. His girlfriend made a statement, said it was overblown. This didn't happen like that. Blah blah blah. Tried to walk it back. They said, "Too bad." And then
don't make the phone call.
Right. But even worse than that, the neighbor could have called.
Yeah.
Or whoever. So it doesn't even have to be pressing charges. And plus, she's pregnant. In Texas, domestic violence against a pregnant woman is a felony.
Wow.
So that's
they
that's
pro-life
the
over there.
That's
they
the
pro-life
difference.
over there. Yeah. Wow. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I mean, you know what? I hate sounding callous when I say this, but if I'm being perfectly honest, man, look, if Bills, Brandon Beane, if you need to use this as a reason to get rid of Von Miller's contract, bruh, I fully support you 100%. I don't want the contract on my books anymore, and I don't think, even with this situation coming up the way that it did, I don't think the player's worth it anymore. I mean, his leadership, I would prefer to put him on the staff as a coach. Like, let him be a defensive end coach.
I was going to actually bring that up when we talked about Von Miller, because I wanted to talk about that just for not the incident, but more so to play on the field.
Yeah.
Why rush him back? Why did you do that? And he's on the payroll. You could bring him back, put him on a roster, and have him coach up Epinesa, who was playing well, Kingsley Jonathan, who was playing well. That could be something that he could, contribute, because in his press conference he said he loves being in Buffalo, he loves being a Bill, he loves the organization, and he's doing any. Because somebody asked him, how do you feel to know you're not contributing in the way you're used to? He said, yeah, it sucks, but I can contribute in other ways. He said, right. Just being here, I can. So that would be a way that if I was a coach or somebody that was in charge of, personnel here, I say, why don't you let him work out with this person? We'll pay him the same salary. Don't worry about that. But because it's already done. Right. We can't get any money back until 25 anyway. Right. So whatever you do next year, if you cut him this year, whatever, it's $32 million agast you next year. Right. Doesn't even matter. So you may as well keep him on board. And then 25.
I thought if we gave him a post June cut that we.
No, that's for 25. Oh. Yeah. Next year we're not. We're just he'll cripple us next year. Yeah. So 25,
no Christmas next year.
Nah, 25. He only counts $6 million against us, but I think next year it's 20.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons why I like even though I heard all the gripes and complaints of him not being able to perform at the level that we paid him for, and it's not the Von Miller that we were thinking about we were going to get, but his presence in the locker room, to me, I think was huge. You look at the play of all the defensive line, not to say that I'm not giving them all the credit, it was all Von Miller, but you see a huge uptick in the defensive line play when he's in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when he first got here, he was open to teaching the guys techniques and moves and stuff like that. So I remember Groot was all up in it, trying to learn from him, trying to learn anything he could from him. So I think he said, or both of you guys kind of hint to it, that would be an awesome thing, is to put him on as a consultant / coach to help our defensive line get to the next level.
And that's one of the things we talked about, early on when we were doing the preseason show, being around the guys. Somebody asked him, they said, what do you think, what is the most frustrating part about it, basically, is the question. And he said, I thought, I was ready sooner. He said, but when you get the pads on you and guys are running around, man, I couldn't do it because he's behind the curve. So my thing is, we talked about when we had the discussion about when he should come back, put him on the active roster and let him use the facilities. Yeah. Let him rehab in the facility, because when you're on IR, you can't do that. You can't practice and rehab. So let him get his reps in. Let him use the state-of-the-art facilities that we have. And then when he's ready next year, because he's already going to be in the books, right. That's when you use him. Suspension or whatever it comes of it. Because if the league suspends him, it's not going to be but for a game or two, depending on when, if it happened this year. Next year, you're looking at 6 games. But not saying that's going to happen. So, guys, that's not where I'm going. But I'm saying the worst case right now with the information we have, they're still looking at 11-game sample size for this guy to play. If he's healthy, that'll be huge in a team that we really don't have a lot of talent because of the salary cap ramifications of 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think ultimately, my mindset on it is, and I get how much this burns you, but I think being able to. So wait, so you're saying, before I say what I gotta say, but are you saying that the post June cut doesn't open up any cap space next year? It only opens up cap space for 2025.
If you post June cut, all it does is it splits off the salary cap hit. So it's the same hit, but it would absorb some of it in 25 as opposed to putting it all in 24. So if you do a pre-June 1st designation or cut, it all goes towards the 24 cap. But if you don't do that, you're going to have $17 million dead cap next year, and then the year after that, you're going to have the remaining whatever it is, $7 million or whatever. So then, or $11 million. So then
that still should open up.
Not next year. In 25,
sure
yeah. In 25,
I remember
it
us talking about that.
20, yeah. Nah. If you nah.
Okay. Von Miller.
But yeah, so if you play him
pre-June, I want post-June. So Von Miller post-June cut. Yeah, dead cap is only $18 million.
Post-June.
Yeah, post-June cut. Yeah, it's 18.
Right, but you don't get any money back. That's a dead cap. But then the rest of it goes towards 25.
It says the cap savings is $10 million. You see it? I'm on over the cap.
Hold on a second. Well, all right, so you save $10 million. We'll just go with that then.
Yeah, so I mean, again, like the for me,
And that's a post June.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, a post June 1st cut gives you a dead cap hit in 2024 of $18 million, and it opens up $10 million.
What does it do in 25?
25. Let me see. Oh no, that's yeah. So right now I got it on 2023. Hold on. Post June 1st. Oh no, not trade. Cut post June for, where is he? Von Miller. So wait, so when it's in red in parentheses,
that means negative.
oh, that means negative.
Yeah. So what I'm
Oh,
looking
that's
at here,
not
I
good.
can read out. Actually, if you can see my screen, I got it.
Yeah.
If you do pre-release, pre-6-1 release next year, you're going to get a net of negative $8 million. So you lose $8 more million. If you pre-6-1 trade him, you gain $2 million. But he still has a $21 million dead cap. Now, if you post 6-1 release him, which is what we're talking about, you have a $17 million dead cap and $15 million dead cap in 25.
Mm-hmm.
But that will get you $6 million
In 2024.
in 2024.
So dead cap of $17 million.
So that would you $17 million dead cap, and that would get you back down to negative $24 million based on the last figure I saw. So he still be negative $24 million in the hole.
But if you trade him,
If you trade him, if you get somebody to trade him post June 1, you have a $6 million dead cap, but you gain 17.5 mil. So you got to find.
I don't know. I don't think anybody's trading for him.
No, they're not going to trade and pick up that contract. No,
Yeah.
that's why I don't even talk about that.
Yeah.
But look here though. If you trade him, look at your 2025 dead cap, $15 million. So you're good next year, but then $15 million of the 32 or so million we have in 25 is just Kaplitsky.
Yeah, but Keith, you gotta keep in mind, like, you prefer to not have any dead cap at all.
It's not
Every
about
single
dead cap.
time that we played Madden, you have made sure to never have any dead cap
Right,
whatsoever.
but it's not about dead cap. It's about the actual capital you can spend. That's
No,
my
I
problem.
get that. I get that.
I don't care about the dead cap.
Well, I mean,
I care about what I have available to me.
dead cap takes away from that, though.
Exactly.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So essentially, like,
Exactly.
ineffectually, you still care about dead cap because it affects
Sure,
what you
because I care about
about.
the major picture.
Right. But my
Where
point
we
is
at?
this. My point is this.
25.
Is it what does more for your locker room right now? Having that kind of contract and that guy in the locker room right now with no production, like none this year in 16 games?
No, he didn't play 16 games.
15. I'm sorry, 15 games.
No. You
right?
got to remember, he was on air for a minute. Then he came back in week 5. So it's been like
Okay, so 10 games. So 10 games, zero production.
But
Production.
I think what A is saying is that's how many games we played where he wasn't available.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, for that,
And even when he was available, it was like he wasn't available.
I mean, for that matter,
saying?
you got to look at like Trey White and stuff like that. These guys, they haven't been available for a large sum of time.
Right.
Well, I mean, Trey White's another one I'm ready to.
But
be
he's
done
an
with.
easier one to do.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a much easier one to do.
I guess I'm just looking at it like this: 2024 is supposed to be a down year. It's supposed to be a year where you're a little lean at certain positions, right? And you really need to depend on the strength of your team, which is your offense, right? So my mindset going into 2024 is whatever we can invest to put around Josh at that point, that's what we need to do, because at the end of the day, this team is going to need to score points against all of these good up and coming defenses and ones that we don't know about that are going to be, great or just, good next year.
I think the major component to this is it's not as simple as getting rid of him and adding people, because you get rid of him, you got to get rid of a lot more people anyway. So I mean, he's a start, but you still got to get rid of. And in 2024,
you have 20-something contracts that are ending at the end of this year.
Yeah, and that still takes into account the negative $40 million we have next year.
Right, but so what I'm saying is when we went through fixing the team for 2024,
mm-hmm.
a lot of it was understanding like they're gonna have to get a lot of vet mins, a lot of undrafted free agent contracts. They're gonna have to draft very well, and that's gonna have to be the bulk of how they fill all the positions of the 20 some odd players that we're gonna be losing. And I get that, you know, we have to be, you know, conscientious of, you know, okay, well, yeah, if we cut this guy, we got to worry about how we're going to fill those positions. I get that. But it's still, at the end of the day, if I'm trying to set my team, like, my mindset is this. 2024, we just have to do the best that we can. 2024 is essentially the same mindset as the last 3 games that we've played and the next 2 that we're going to play, including the New England game coming up on Sunday, which is just do whatever you can to win, because it's not going to look pretty in 2024, right? So if we know that it's not going to look pretty in 2024, then what we need to do and the mindset we need to have is, okay, then we know 2025 is going to be a great year because we're going to have plenty of cap space and we're going to have even more bad contracts off of our team at that point with no dead cap hits, right? So why not plan for 2 years ahead of now and say we get rid of Von Miller, even though that contract, the dead cap hit still goes for 24 and 25. By the time we get to 25, we'll have all those young players that have a year of experience under their belt because they're going to have to get playing time, which is what you want, right? They're all going to be playing with Josh Allen. They're all going to have a year of experience in that offense or a year of experience in that defense, right? Then what do you do after that? You say, okay, where do we absolutely have to be better at corner, right? If we pick corner, all right, fine. Are we trading up to draft a top tier guy in the first, 10 picks? Are we going and signing a guy that like Jair Alexander's not going to be a free agent? I forgot who we saw.
Cut.
Huh?
He'll be a free agent.
Yeah, but I don't think Green Bay's letting him go. They might. They might actually. They might.
They're
you
going
think
to.
so?
They benched him already.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's already there. He's already a pariah.
Wow.
He's not coming here because he's nowhere near our culture. And I'm not even being funny with that.
I'm still operating under
Was that the
mindset.
same dude who was beefing with Diggs?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But did you see what happened after they benched him? I mean, I didn't even listen to the interview, but he's got problems.
Weird.
He's a head case.
Is
So
he
he's
like,
definitely not
is he
coming
like
here.
an Antonio Brown head case?
Let me ask you this.
He's super cocky.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
When Aaron Rodgers was playing, did we hear anything from Jair Alexander? No. The answer is no. I'll just tell you right now. The answer is no.
What do you mean?
Did we hear any issues with the player at all when Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback in Green Bay? The answer is no.
Yes, but they didn't. But the extension is they didn't care. That's where you are.
He said they didn't care.
He was known, and Rasul Douglas was a masked too. They had a lot of guys that masked him, and they'll tell you that if you watch any Packers media stuff, yeah, you'll see because I liked him. Okay. Especially after the Diggs deal, I was like, yo, what's this about? He's got a track record of this. This goes back to college.
Okay.
Yeah, he's out there.
Listen,
he's way out there.
I don't care how much of a head case you are. If you can ball,
if you can help the team,
right? You can ball.
Well, you got
right on this way, brother. I got some.
Well, you know I'm right there with you, but you know I gotta think like. Gotta put my hat on. Think like McDermott.
He's not our guy.
Why are you trying to think like McDermott?
Because he's gonna be our coach.
No, he's not.
Okay.
No, he is not.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that because one of the stuffs I heard was if we win tomorrow, on Sunday, 97% chance of making the playoffs with a Week 17 win against the Patriots. A 97% chance of making the playoffs if we beat the Patriots. But if we lose, we fought a 41%.
Ooh.
I mean,
if they make the playoffs, he'll start off on the hot seat or a watch list, whatever you want to call it, but he'll be here.
I'll put my analyst hat on later. let me finish the Von Miller point. And
that's all I had to say. I don't want to go into it. I mean, that's all I had to say.
But I do like I had some thoughts on that I wanted to get to later on. I'm sorry. So yeah, I just think for where we are right now with Von Miller and where this team is trying to be in terms of being a consistent Super Bowl contender. You have to own what 2024 is going to be. You're already owning what 2023 is and understanding that you just have to do whatever is necessary to win games. The culture inside the building is broken, and everybody right now is scrambling to do everything they can to just make it work as is, which is cool, right? Everybody should that's what everybody should do. Like, just own it. Like, it is what it is. it ain't working right now. We got to do what we got to do to fix it and just try and win, right? Because winning is the ultimate ointment that cures everything, right? But I don't think that you do that and then just forget about what's coming up in 2024 and 25, right? It's the same to me. Letting Von Miller stay on this team is the same move as bringing everybody back after the 13 seconds game and then adding Von Miller and thinking that that's going to solve everything, right? It's the same mindset that I heard this morning. I was giving somebody a ride, and they talked about, well, you got to hope that people are going to get better. No, eventually, after people have shown you who they are for a certain period of time, you got to believe them. You can't keep thinking that, well, he'll get better, and then he don't, and you just keep making excuses. You gonna look 10 years from now, 20 years from now, after Josh Allen is gone and all these other stud players that we didn't had, and you're gonna be thinking to yourself, man, how did we only make one AFC championship game? Man, Marv Levy, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, how did we not win a Super Bowl? We already looking back at that. I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to be the butt of jokes of the 90s Bills teams and then people talking about people are already talking about us right now nationally. They talking about how you can't trust the Bills to be consistent. They're up and down team, ride the roller coaster, the Josh Allen roller coaster. They talk about Josh Allen like he's the least dependable quarterback in the league. Like, come on, Josh Allen has more total touchdowns than anybody in the league. There is not another player at the quarterback position that can make the plays that Josh Allen can make. Sure. Nobody.
No, yeah. That's straight blasphemous.
That's blasphemous. Right. But people nationally are on that stuff right now because of what's been allowed to happen by your Sean McDermott. Like, to me, that's got to be over with. Regardless of what happens this year, you have to take a look at what's going on with the Browns. You have to take a look at what's going on even with the Eagles. How are the Eagles still winning games right now? The defense is terrible. Right?
They do got a nice roster though.
That's what I'm saying. They got players.
Yeah, they got players.
But they not playing like they did last year.
True.
Right?
True.
But when you have an offensive guy and you need to score points, they can figure that out for you. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You look at what the Browns are doing. The Browns, like, let's be honest, because the Browns have Jim Schwartz as their defensive coordinator, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I can look it up.
All right. Last time I checked, I believe it's Jim Schwartz that's their defensive coordinator. But if you look at what the Browns are doing right now, they have the number one total defense. Or I'm sorry, not the number one total defense. That's the Ravens. The Ravens are number one in points.
Alex Van Pelt is their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't know that.
Who's their defensive coordinator?
Jim Schwartz.
Yeah. So Jim Schwartz is their defensive coordinator, right? They have, by the numbers, everything except points, really, they're a dominant defense. Early in the season, people were talking about they're like 2000 Ravens defense, like good. Like, that's how good they were, right? And you look at the fact that they are where they are now, having clinched a playoff spot when their quarterbacks have been a very poorly performing Deshaun Watson, DTR, who was the other quarterback that they had? I forget his name, but they've had 4 different quarterbacks, one of which has been Joe Flacco, who came in off the couch and is now.
Now, it's funny you said that because you said, who was their defense resemble us? The Ravens, back when Flacco was the quarterback.
Right.
So it fit. We got a good defense. Give me Flacco all day.
Exactly. And
I'm
now
just laughing. You see, he came from the couch. Did you see the footage of him falling asleep on the bench?
yeah, I did see that. How old is he now? He's 40 something.
No, he's younger than us.
He's
like 30.
38.
He's like 30 or 39, dude. He's younger than us. Yeah, he's like 37, 38, somewhere.
He came out the same year Matt Ryan did.
So Matt Ryan is 37, 38.
No, I don't know how old they were when they came out because sometimes they'd be 20, sometimes it's 22, 23. But I know they came out the same year.
Yeah, because he came from Delaware. 38.
Yeah. Okay. So like for me, I'm looking at the fact that their head coach has won all these games and scored enough points to win these games with the play of a great defense and 3 very bad quarterbacks until they got to Joe Flacco. Like, Deshaun Watson ain't back yet. And it usually, from what I've been told, it takes a year, maybe 2, to really get back to being used to NFL speed, right?
Like 100% wise, yeah.
Right. So all of this points to what? Every single team that's in the playoffs right now, except for the Buffalo Bills, has an offensive coach. All of them. I'll go through the list if it like where's hold on, I gotta bring that list back up. Yep, here it is. Okay, so
are we still talking about Von Miller, or are we going to offensive coach? What are we talking about here?
No, we're still talking about Von Miller, but so I'll just y'all can look that up and research that if y'all want. But the teams that are in the playoffs right now, all offensive head coaches except for the Buffalo Bills, right? Now, how that I'm gonna circle that back to the Von Miller point. How that creates, in my mind, a situation where it's okay to get rid of Von Miller and his contract is if you bring in an offensive guy, and we talked about this 2 episodes ago, right? Where if you bring in an offensive guy and he's got a good scheme, you can put young players with minimal contracts into that scheme and make that thing work. Now, if you have a smart coordinator that comes in as a head coach and does something like what Stefanski has done in Cleveland, and this is why I brought up the Browns, he hired Jim Schwartz to be his defensive coordinator, right? There's still a bunch of young players on that Browns defense. Still. I think the stalwarts, the leaders, like Myles Garrett is still only 26, 27, somewhere around there.
Somewhere there.
Right? Grant Delpit is 25, 26.
Somewhere there.
Their stud corner is 20, somewhere between 26 and 28.
Who's that?
He's been there for a while. I need to get the Cleveland roster here.
While you do that, I got something that ties into your point here.
Yep.
Trade rumor. I don't even know why I read this stuff, but I thought Aaron would get a kick out of this especially. Buffalo Bills expected to make franchise-altering trade with the Arizona Cardinals.
For Stephon Diggs.
You saw it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Stephon Diggs, and to trade Stephon Diggs, we would get a 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 third-round pick. Would you do it?
To select who? Marvin Harrison?
He probably. Well, was you? No, because Houston is Houston's pick. So you're talking about
Houston doesn't have the first right now. Right now,
it's Houston's pick. It comes from they changed to Arizona. It's Houston's pick. It's the pick Houston would have. So Houston is.
Oh no! I get that. So what pick is Houston?
That's what I'm saying. They're a borderline wild card team.
Yeah, they about to. So
you're talking about mid teens, later teens.
Right.
Would you do it?
No,
I wouldn't.
No.
Okay,
no. That's not enough. I would trade Stephon Diggs and draft picks if it meant I could guarantee that I get up high enough to get Marvin Harrison.
You trade draft picks too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me personally, I will only get rid of Steph. I can't. To me, this is just me. I can't get rid of Steph and get a rookie. I want somebody who's proven for Steph Diggs. Only because we have a young offense.
No,
Khalil Shakir's young. Dalton Kincaid, like I want a vet like Stephon Diggs.
So what? I'm gonna give you a scenario then. So would you take trading Stephon Diggs and a third round pick, right, to move up to Marvin Harrison? Probably go about 4 or 5.
He's going 2 right now.
You think he's going 2 right now?
That's where he is right now.
So it's probably gonna need to be Stephon Diggs, next year's first, and a third just to get up to number 2 to select Marvin Harrison, and you go out and you sign T. Higgins. That can be your vet, right? T. Higgins will come in. He'll be your number 1/1B. You know what I'm saying? Because Marvin Harrison, like the way they talking about this dude, he's the best receiver in the last 20 years to come out of the draft. He's a 6'4", speedy receiver that runs every single route there is, right? And I'm gonna put it like this: my pops, his nephew is a corner for the Michigan Wolverines right now, right? He is. Everybody's talking about him like he's gonna come out and be like the best corner in the last 20 years, right? And even Charles Woodson is like, yo, like that's the dude, right? He got mossed, right? His name's Will Johnson, corner for the Michigan Wolverines, like one of the best corners you see in the last however many years. Even he still got a play made on him by Marvin Harrison Jr. Like that. This is the kind of how can I say this, generational receiver that we're talking about right now. So if you get him on the field and you go get a guy like, the guy out of Jacksonville is supposed to have a lower market value, Ridley, right? So let's say you go out and you try and get a Ridley or you get a T. Higgins, one of those two guys, and you pair them with Marvin Harrison Jr. Now keep in mind, when Jamar Chase came out and him and Joe Burrow got together, it happened like that.
But they were teammates, though.
I get it.
So they already had that chemistry.
Right.
Yeah.
But with Josh Allen having the amount of experience that he's had, to be able to take Marvin Harrison out in the yard and be like, yo, all we got to do is this, and this. Like, it takes an offseason if you really work at it. Like, really. Like, yeah. I get Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, but it takes an offseason. Like, if you really want to work at that thing, get the chemistry together, and I'm sure if Josh Allen gets a weapon like Marvin Harrison Jr., he would definitely do that, especially if he knows he's got another guy like Ridley and T. Higgins coming. I would take that all day. That's just me. Like, I've always had the mindset of whatever we can do to be elite somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like, as a team, you have to be able to be elite somewhere, and it can't just be at the quarterback, right? If you look at the Cleveland Browns right now, where are they elite? Defense and elite running game. When they had Nick Chubb in there, elite running game, right? Nick Chubb is the best running back in the league. So they have that. That's what makes that roster Super Bowl caliber. Now you got to play a Joe Flacco in there with his experience and all that kind of stuff. They could really make a Super Bowl run. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm looking at it like that, I'm like, man, we could easily have that if we just change the head coach. The head coach can come in and bring a scheme that allows players to just come into the scheme and work within the scheme and have it be easy for the players. But when you do what Sean McDermott is doing and you put a bunch of guys on the field and you say, if we're going to win because of your individual abilities working together, well, now you're basically taking new recruits in boot camp and telling them y'all got 4 days to act as a unit. And when they don't do it, we start wondering, well, what's going on? Well, it just takes time. Okay, well, we 15 games into the season. Right. Why aren't they dominant?
So I will say this. I agree with your point for the Cleveland Browns, because to me, with everything you said, it would be perfect for the Browns, but I don't think that formula will work with the Bills. Reason why is our best feature is not our defense. It's Josh Allen and the offense.
No, that's, you
know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what I was saying. Like for the Bills, my what I think is the elite area should be you already have Josh Allen, so just get some elite receivers.
So this is the thing.
You see what I'm saying? Like you can get elite receivers, and then next year you're going to have elite linebackers on your defense. You know what I'm saying?
The only thing that I'm scared of is because of the whole Sammy Watkins trade. I don't like to gamble on wide receivers.
Here's
round.
my thought.
Now here's why. Sammy Watkins did a lot of, so I'm kind of prejudiced on that because of what happened to us with Sammy Watkins.
Right.
But to your point, because we got Josh Allen and we said this, we text this. whoever plays with Josh Allen, he's going to elevate them.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I don't think you need to get the top guy, which I see your point. You want to be dominant, like you can't touch us in this area.
Right.
I see that. You got that, right?
Yeah, man.
But I don't want to gamble. So me, like, I'll be a little bit more like, give me a second round guy or let me get like a third round who's supposed to go in the second round guy to match with Josh Allen. And I already know I'm good because he's got talent and I got Josh, but now I ain't got to pay that much money. That's just me. Like, I want to gamble because I heard a lot about Marvin Harrison Jr. too, but if let's just say it's probably not going to happen, but let's say the rare case that he comes back and something happens where he's injury prone or he don't make out. Now you look foolish because you invested all this and then bit you in the butt.
Well, here's my thought on that. If anybody that knows college football this year knows that Marvin Harrison, in fact, was not the top wide receiver in college. He's up there, and he's got the potential to be the best that comes out. But you got to look at Malik Neighbors out of LSU, which somebody
I've heard about him too.
You don't need to trade down for anything. You don't need to give up a draft pick.
Right.
In 2 years where you really can't afford to get draft picks, you could still use your second first-round pick to get Keon Coleman out of Florida State. You got two Neighbors to take the top off the defense kind of guy that's got size. Keon Coleman, 6'4", 215. Got speed, got wiggle. He can move like a smaller guy. To your point, you don't like the fact of having all the young guys out there. I think for Neighbors who play in the SEC, I think not Neighbors, Neighbors, and Coleman who played in the ACC against quality talent, against quality cornerbacks, that can alleviate some of your issues. And you got guys like Kincaid who will be another year into the league. You got Knox who you got Khalil Shakir who I just heard McDermott talk about Khalil Shakir's ability to see things on film and process it better than some guys that have all the measurables, have the size, the speed. Yeah. He said those guys are nice, but sometimes their problem is they can't figure it out on the fly.
Right.
Whereas you got a Shakir who can teach how to read whatever because it's come together for him. We've seen it. But in this situation where we don't have as much money as people might think, I know, in the next 2 years, because you're looking at if you get rid of Vaughn in 2025, now you just Vaughn alone, that'll cut you down to 20 to 15 million in 2025 of cap space, and now we don't have anybody on the team. And now we're going through another year of having having the 1 year contracts, the middling guys. When I think next year we could alleviate some of that issue and wait another year and then get rid of him with a post cut if you have to in 25 and have next to no kind of ramifications. Where next year you don't even have the only defensive end you have on the roster next year are Kingsley Jonathan and Greg Rousseau. Those are only two defensive ends you got is you get rid of Von Miller. Because Leonard Floyd he's on the books, but he's not on the team.
Right.
AJ Epinesa is gone.
He's looking for a new contract, so we got to give him one.
Epinesa, like numbers wise, you can justify giving Epinesa you can justify giving him a $10 million contract, and he would probably take that. Like anywhere between 10 and 14 million, I'm fine with giving that to AJ because numbers wise, like he's like how can he justify getting any more than that? Like he hasn't had the numbers up until this season, right? So the Bills can win that negotiation, and I think
this is Epinesa's thing. Epinesa can say I've never had more than a 40% snap game. I've never had more than a 37% snap.
Well, whose fault is that?
Let me finish up. He can say I've never had more than a 37% snap percentage in a season, but I still got 6.5 sacks this season. Now, what you're looking at is Tremaine Edmonds kind of players where somebody's going to throw money at a defensive end, a young up-and-coming guy with these numbers, see what we can do with them. The Bills don't have the money to try to compete with some of these other teams that can give this guy $6-7 million guaranteed. See, that's the problem. I mean, if Epinesa will take, I think, was it me and you, were we talking about this in text? Or was it, I don't know if it was me and you guys or maybe my other friend, but if he would take, $4 million guaranteed, fine. By all means, do it. But the odds are, with the numbers he put up in the limited sample size he had, he's going to get more than that.
Well, that's why I said if you can work it out to where you can give him whatever you were going to try and pay to Gabe Davis, just give him that contract. Give him the $14 million.
Yeah, I think Gabe would actually get more than what was considered more than him.
Well, his Gabe's market value as of the beginning of the season was 14. It's 14. So what? Here's what I'm saying. I get the trepidation of what could go wrong, but I think that's been to the detriment of the Buffalo Bills for 20 years. I think we've had a fan base that is so scared of Sammy Watkins, Marcel Darius, and all these head coaches that have come here and not done anything, that the second we have any kind of success whatsoever, we just hold on for dear life to that. And what I'm saying is, my mindset is, listen, I'm shooting for the stars. If I fall, I land on the cloud. I said this before. Kanye had the line. He knocked it out the park with that. And the second that you take your eyes off of the stars, now you're basically relegating yourself to no higher than the clouds. And for me, I can't live that way. I can't be okay with just making the playoffs, just having a shot, and watching all these other teams make these draft picks, like the Jets picking up Sauce Gardner. Like, Sauce Gardner was touted as the best corner in how many years, right? Mm-hmm. And the Jets was just like, you know what? We'll take a shot at you. Number 4th overall pick. Come on. Like, Derek Stingley went a pick before Sauce did. You know what I'm saying? The Texans was like, yo, we loved it. Like, and Stingley wasn't even he didn't have the Sauce Gardner name. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm looking at situations like that, and I'm saying Texans definitely don't regret taking Stingley. He's budding now. Like, he's just started to bud now, and it took him a year, right? But Sauce Gardner, year 1, was the best corner in the league. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm looking at that, like, I have to think of what the best outcome could possibly be. And the Bills did that when they took Josh Allen. If they were trying to be, cautious and nervous about what could go wrong, then they would have taken Josh Rosen at that point. But they didn't. They swung for the.
I don't know. I mean, I try not to interrupt, but I think this is a whole nother climate, because you're looking at that was a principal thing. This is now a financial deal. This is another layer to it. If we had the money we had, then yeah, I agree 100%. You can do whatever you want. But now that you got a franchise quarterback, now that you have, a franchise wide receiver who you can't get rid of. Now you have this Tre'Davious White contract on your books. It limits you and handcuffs you in ways you can't think about it.
You can get rid of that contract.
You can diminish it. You can. Right. You're still going to get bit a little bit by it.
That's fine. But you can get rid of it.
But what I'm saying is the money now is not what the money was pre-COVID when we took Josh Allen. We had plenty of money.
No, I get that. I get that. But I'm looking at Mitch Morse's $10 million coming off the books. I'm looking at, if you really wanted to, you can trade Deion Dawkins and draft a guy in 2024 if you really wanted to. And Deion Dawkins' contract wouldn't really bite you. Deion Dawkins' contract would probably bite you about as much as Trey White's. Right? And you still got Micah Hyde's contract coming off the books. You still got Jordan Poyer's contract coming off the books with no dead cap hit because their contracts are just up, right? Taylor Rapp's contract is going to be up. Like, you have so many other players that their books are just natural. Their contracts are naturally coming off the books, right? So there will be money opened up.
But you got to understand, the money that we're talking is with them already gone.
I get it. And you've been saying this the whole time. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, you still got to fill those positions and you still need money to do it. I get that. But what I'm saying is, if those bigger contracts are coming off the books, you can fill those positions with lesser contracts that allow you to spend bigger money to get guys in here that are much more dominant than what you had. That's all I'm saying. It's just a reallocation of funds. It's not a diminishing of funds here and expecting it to just pop up somewhere else. You're strategically letting these guys go because in your mind, I got these undrafted free agents I can get. I'm gonna draft these players, and I got these 2 free agents that I'm gonna go hard after. And if I get them, I know we're gonna be good. Like, I would rather go into a game knowing that at any given moment, I've got one guy on offense that I know is going to go out there and dominate. Or in our case, because we've seen Stephon Diggs nobody else can really step up when Steph is being double teamed. So now what that tells me is I need a number 2 guy that can go out and dominate. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, okay, well then I don't need to worry about trading Steph. I just need to worry about how much money am I going to try to allocate to go getting Calvin Ridley or T. Higgins, or seeing if Michael Pittman is going to want to take a chance and come here for less money to be our number 2 receiver.
If we're keeping Steph, let's go get Keon Coleman called a day.
A draft pick?
Yeah. As a number 2. Who should be a number 1?
Does he run all of the routes? Is he can he be a number 1 receiver?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I would prefer to have a guy that's done it. Now. Like right now. If we talking about 2025, when we got the money to mess up, like in my mind right now we don't have the money to mess up. If I'm going to take the shot at trying to bolster my offense going into 2024, I'm trying to make sure that we have the best shot possible to go win. Right? To me, 2024 is not about trying to develop the offense and defense. It's about most of your defense is going to be gone. So can I bring in enough players to make my offense good enough to still give us a shot at a Super Bowl, and then let the defense be the side of the ball where you're getting all these draft picks and you know what I mean, and young guys and blah blah blah. Like to me that you're the Chiefs at that point. You know what I'm saying? You're the Chiefs at that point. I'll take that.
Okay.
All right.
So the last stuff I had, I mean, I was going to say we got like 5 more minutes on that, honestly. But question for you. Does Miller Moss's play in the bowl game diminish what Caleb Williams has done in his career? You think the reason why I asked that is USC, they beat a ranked team. They beat
with a backup
that had 327 yards passing, 6 touchdowns in his first game against a ranked team, which Caleb Williams only beat one ranked team, and they played 4 this year. He's 1-3 against ranked teams, and the backup beat Louisville in a bowl game. To me, that it kind of does. It kind of does to me, because you're starting quarterback. I'm not saying he's garbage, but what I'm saying is, what does that say about the system? What does that say about the players around him? Because
so do you think? So is the question? Do you think that kid is better, or do you think that because of like A put out with the system, that the system is so cool anybody could go in and dominate? Is it a system thing, or is it a player thing?
I think what I'm getting at with that question is, I'm not saying he's better, because obviously Caleb Williams is better, but when in a draft window, when you're thinking about going number 1,
yeah.
A number 1 guy, which you would think would be a generational talent-ish,
right.
Somebody that can do things that nobody else can do,
right,
ish. But when my backup comes into the game, I refuse to play, and I'm healthy because I'm getting ready for a draft, and he does just as good as I've done against a team that I couldn't beat when I played. To me, that's a tough sell. I mean, it probably didn't hurt his stock, but it would make me turn my eye a little bit and say, what's going on over there?
I don't know if you could say that. That's the same as Easton Stick coming in and playing as well as he did against the Bills. Like there's just not a lot of tape.
Touchdowns?
No, I get it, but there's not a lot of tape on the kid, right? So it's not like the other team can know what he's going to do, or know how he's going to react in certain situations, or know how he reacts to pressure. So you got a guy that's coming in to play quarterback that he's obviously familiar with the offensive system and didn't really need all the reps all season long to be prepared. And on top of that, the defense has no clue how to play him. So, yeah, of course, to me, there's an advantage for the quarterback going into that situation. Whereas with Caleb Williams, he's been a name for a while now, and people got plenty of tape on the dude since high school that they looking at, trying to make sure that they can beat him.
He's also been a name that hasn't been able to beat a top 25 ranked team.
Well, okay,
and that goes back to 2 years
What
now.
are we really talking about now? We know his traits are elite. We know the kid can play quarterback.
How do we know? How do we know?
Because we saw it last year.
But let me bring up this point, though. The infamous Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf. If y'all saw the interview, Peyton Manning thought Ryan Leaf was better than him. Right?
And that's college.
Clearly, the only difference was even Ryan Leaf, like he'll go on, he'll say it. He didn't prepare. He didn't have a regiment. He just like, hey, this is me. I can ball. I don't need all this.
Right.
Peyton Manning put the work in.
Right.
But the difference is the national media, Ryan Leaf. Bust. Peyton Manning, Hall of Fame quarterback. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I don't know. What if Caleb Williams is a Ryan Leaf?
And think about last year. What's the Carolina quarterback's name?
C.J. Stroud? Oh no. Carolina.
Exactly.
He said exactly.
He was
Bryce
a consensus.
Young.
Bryce
Young.
Consensus until the combine. #1 overall pick.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud was top 5-ish.
Yeah, he's balling right now.
He's balling right now. I mean, can Bryce Young come in and do whatever? Maybe.
Let me ask you this then. Do you think if you swap Bryce Young with Caleb Williams would be better? Do you think Miller Moss being swapped out for Bryce Young at this point in time with everything that Bryce Young had on that team?
No, this isn't about Miller Moss. That wasn't the point I was making. The point I was making was more about the scheme that he plays in, the system he's in, and the fact that his backup came in and tied his record for touchdowns in a game in his first outing. I mean, yeah, they don't have film, but you got 4 quarters. You got a halftime. At some point, you would think, let's change something up
and let's stop him from doing it.
Yeah, let's make an adjustment.
yeah, but if you don't so this is the. I'll put it like this: if the Bills had to play man coverage in the playoffs, you trust them
for the whole game?
Yeah.
Why would you do it the whole game?
Just say yes or no.
No, why would you do it the whole game though? I can't do yes or no.
Why not?
Because of the halftime, and every coach in the land of the living will make an adjustment at halftime.
No.
What if it's working?
No, not even that. Not even that. So in the Chargers game, they started off playing zone. The Bills started playing zone.
Right.
When they were getting destroyed playing zone, they had to play man. And on key third down situations, you could see when they were playing man, they still got beat because they're not a man team, right? So my point is this. Your boy Miller Moss is going against the defense, and you're saying, why aren't they making adjustments? Why aren't they doing anything? It's the same reason why the Bills got destroyed the way they did by the Chargers offense. If their defense is built to play a certain way, and Miller Moss is still doing what he's doing against that defense, and they try to switch it up to something that they're less good at to try and compensate, it still may not work. It may just be a situation where Miller Moss in that offense caught them at a bad time, and they didn't have an answer for it.
I just have a hard time believing that a number 16 ACC team gets blown, that the door is blown out by a Pac-12 team, like with a backup. I just have a hard time believing that. And the fact that you're telling me that a college coach on that level cannot stop a backup to the tune of 6 touchdowns and 327 yards, that's tough to me. That's real tough. I mean, like I said, this isn't about Miller Moss. The point is, if he wouldn't have had 6 touchdowns like Caleb Williams had 6 touchdowns against, I forget who it was. Was it Colorado? Whoever. I wouldn't even bring this up. But the point is, they made a big to-do about Caleb Williams' 6 touchdowns. A huge to-do.
And this kid just came in and did the same thing.
But the thing is, he couldn't beat a top 25 team. This guy comes in and ties his touchdown total and does what Caleb Williams hasn't done for the large part of his career in beating a top 25 team.
So let me get this straight. So we just happened to be sitting here talking about the Bills, and you brought up a conversation about Caleb Williams possibly being exposed for being a fraud because a backup comes in and throws 6 touchdowns in a college game.
I wouldn't say a fraud, but yes. In essence, yes.
I'm just trying to see what the point is.
Diminishing him.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, all his accolades, everything that he's done, was it him or was it the scheme?
Was it the scheme?
Can we decisively and conclusively differentiate the two? I can't. I mean,
well, not unless you're in the building, yeah.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at. And it wasn't something else we joined out. It was just something that I thought about because it's national. This is a huge story now. Yeah. And I'm turning my like, okay, Caleb Williams, which I've watched time and time again this year. He crumbled every time against a top 25 team.
So just so everybody's aware, from now on, we will be talking about national football. That way, you know, at some point I can finally, you know, stretch my legs a little bit since we're talking about college football here. Because
no, I don't need you to do this.
I didn't know we was going to ever talk about college football to this degree.
No. I just want your thoughts on it because it was interesting to me.
Well, I've always again. So my main thought when I hear that is, great. It's the Kyle Shanahan argument. Like, everybody is on one side of the fence about Brock Purdy. Nobody can agree on it because Kyle Shanahan's scheme is so daggone good, right? And if you have a scheme where you can plug any quarterback in and they can have success, why not hire that guy as a head coach? I'm fine with that because I know that there's an everlasting long period of time to where it don't matter who I got at quarterback. If I don't like the guy's attitude that's in there right now and his contract is coming up and I don't feel like re-signing him, peace.
That's the Andy Reid right there.
And I think,
see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I'm there with you on that. I think that's why it's interesting to me because to get to where you're talking about, which is the quarterback, you can get rid of his contract. I got to base my decision on hiring this guy based on some tape that now his backup, his replacement, he called in sick. And his backup came in and did twice. Well,
I got it. Don't worry about it.
Listen,
I got it.
I'm like, wait a minute. Do I want to invest $100 million in?
Instead of being worried about Caleb Williams, we need to be worried about whoever the offensive coordinator or the head coach is that put this system in place for both of these dudes to score 6 touchdowns on the team.
Exactly.
That's the guy we need to be more talking about for head coach position.
Now you're where I was. That's where I was. Where I was
get
at.
to the point then. I did. Over here talking about Caleb Williams. Did you ever get a sense that that's what his point was?
I thought it was basically Miller Boss and Caleb.
Right.
But you asked me that, right?
What are you talking about?
You asked me, and I said it's not about the quarterback, didn't I?
Well,
That's what I said.
I was waiting to hear it. I was waiting.
I said it.
Now we 10 minutes later we got to the answer. Okay, thank you.
All right, so now we got with this last. Well, it was an agreement, but whatever. We got this last half an hour to talk about the game. All right,
New England.
I mean, we've seen this movie before. We've seen this already once before. What do you guys think? I know we talked about the touchdowns.
Yeah.
What we need to see the touchdowns on Sunday.
I mean,
we don't need defense. What about the touchdowns?
Just expecting folks to answer the question. That's all I'm saying.
So listen, I might not like this, but it is what it is. The Patriots are a different team with Bailey Zappi than Mac Jones.
Oh yeah,
The proof is in the pudding. Like if you look at the last 3 games. So I think he came in the Chargers game that 0-6, but he started the Pittsburgh, KC, and Denver. When he came in, he almost beat Pittsburgh, 21-18. He was competitive against the Chiefs. They won, but he was competitive, and he just beat Denver. Like he's way better than Mac Jones, way better. And even though I'm not crowning him. No, Bill Belichick, yeah, he's not the same. He's definitely not the same, but he's still putting up a good defense. So look at this. In the last, what's that? 1, 2, 3, man. I don't see these boys getting blown out, man. I would love, in my heart, I would want them to because of what they did to us, and I feel like the Bills owe them a punch in the mouth. They owe it to them for getting beat in their house, and now you coming home to our house, so we going to pounce on you? But I don't know, man. Like my heart is telling me that's what I want to see, but my head is telling me it's probably not gonna happen.
So to be clear, not putting money on a -12 right now.
I will
no way.
Hey, I might put it on the Patriots plus 12.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
I might even bet.
And I know people don't want to hear that. That like you know what I'm saying. You want us to dominate them, but they ain't giving up a lot of points, man.
Right. I think early on when Josh came here and Brady left and we started dominating the Patriots, at that point I don't think Belichick had the players he needed on defense to be able to guard Josh Allen the way that he does now. And if you look at the last, I'll say 2 to 3 times that they've played, it's been a very different story for how well Josh Allen has done against that defense, right? Not only has Belichick figured out a way to put pressure on Josh while keeping him in the pocket, he's found a way to manipulate our offensive line and keep them off guard, which opens up more holes for blitzes and different things like that throughout the game that put you in negative situations. So, I was going to get to that too. I do think, and actually before I say it, let me ask y'all this. Does this game have more or less trap game potential than the LA Chargers game to y'all?
I would say less because I don't think the Bills are downgrading this team or thinking that, hey, we could go in and blow this team out. Like they know what's up, right? They know they went there and they battled these dudes and they lost.
Right.
So now they coming home is like, yo, we not, you know what I'm saying? So I think they're prepared. I will hope that they prepared.
Right.
That, you know what I'm saying? That you know who's coming in your building. You know what I'm saying? The Chargers are a whole different story to me because, like you said, we didn't have a lot of tape on Eason Michael Stick. Yeah. We didn't know what they was going to do with the players they had. Everybody's new, and we don't know what's going on. You know the Patriots. right? You know Bill Belichick. You know what he wants to do. You know the team pretty much. So I would think that they're not looking. They're prepared. It's not a trap game.
Okay. Key, what you think?
I agree. Probably less.
Simple as that.
No, it's less. I mean, it's a division game. It's the last of the 17 game schedule. They beat us last time, and they actually outplayed us last time. And they're going to want to get back. I don't foresee a high scoring knockout drag out fight between these two teams. So I would say less because whether we win or lose is something that they have time and had time to prepare for.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's another question. This is it's near and dear to my heart because I would love to have this, right? Should Josh try to go for the MVP award by throwing at least 4 touchdowns in this game?
No.
Does it mean no?
So
okay.
Again, my heart in my head.
Right.
My heart will love to see him do that.
Yes.
Right? But my head, I want Josh to be a leader.
Yeah.
And one thing about a leader, you're not looking at yourself. It's not about patting your stats. It's the overall team.
Yeah, we don't need sugar high Josh right now.
Right? I don't need you to go out and ball out. Because another thing too that's kind of pissing me off is a lot of criticism about Josh. Mm-hmm. The turnovers and he's not that good and blah, blah, blah. But as you alluded, he has the most touchdowns combined in the NFL, right? He's constantly breaking records every year. Like the man is a generational talent. Okay, arguably, like I said, probably the second best quarterback in the league. This year, he might even be the first. Like he's balling, right? And to the MVP point, like you said with Brock Purdy, to me, because of that system and Kyle Shanahan, that gives me more leverage to why he shouldn't be the MVP. Because I bet you I could put somebody else in there and had the same results. And you got 3 people in that team who was like dominating. You got Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the NFL right now. You got him on the team. You got a Debo. You got a healthy Kittle. You got Brandon Ayuk. You got all these weapons. So yeah, Brock Purdy, he's putting up good numbers, but if you take him out of the equation, you still gonna win games.
Right.
Do that for Buffalo. You take Josh Allen off the field.
Oh, it's over.
It's a train wreck.
Yeah.
Right? I think he should win the MVP because to me he fits the bill. Most valuable player.
Agreed.
Right? I'm not talking about the most who got the best record or blah blah blah, because you're gonna be honest with you, the team who got the best record probably got the best coach. Right? That's the coach of the year.
Yeah.
He's winning the most games. He's finding a way to win the most games. But a lot of times it goes to the quarterback with the highest record because, he's winning, blah, blah, blah. But in all actuality, to me, the highest record should go to the best coach. The player who you identify, without this player, your team would crumble. To me, that's Josh Allen, man.
It has to be. It has to be 100%. I agree with that.
But national media, they won't give it to him because of the turnovers, because of the record. Nah. They're not giving it to him.
Yeah, you're right. I think, if Josh has done it before, I strongly believe he can do it again. And at home, the Buffalo Bills are a different team. Mm-hmm. They are a much more dominant team. I don't think that the corners that the Patriots have right now, even though they've played other teams well, they haven't played Josh Allen with this lack of corners. Jack Jones is no longer there. So every other corner that has played well against the Bills is no longer there. Now, J.C. Jackson did come back. J.C. Jackson is back in New England. But Stephon Diggs has destroyed him religiously. Yeah. So I'm not even why should I even worry about J.C. Jackson at this point? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so for what it's worth, I think I would take my chances at home. If it means that the national media has to put some respect on my quarterback's name, Josh, you go out there and you ball. Now, granted, again, I'm not asking for sugar high Josh, right? But I think schematically, the Bills have done it to the Patriots before at home.
That playoff game.
Exactly.
Smoked them.
Right. So if I'm looking at those performances and I'm saying to myself, Joe Brady has shown himself to be able to pull that out of this offense, man, why not? keep your foot on the gas and keep it going, because at the end of the day, you got to send a message. Bill Belichick may or may not be on his way out. There were reports that he was going to step down at the end of the season, but the way that the Patriots been playing, he may not. He may decide, I got Bailey Zappi, maybe we can go back, go try again next year. And maybe the owner might be convinced. No, I want to shut that down. I want the man out of here for good. I want another head coach to have to come in here and figure it out.
Yep. I want to see him throwing tablets, breaking stuff.
Exactly.
I want to see him pissed off.
That's
just
what
because
I want.
I can't stand that, man. 20 years.
Exactly.
He had his foot on my neck for 20 years.
Exactly.
I'm tired of him.
He not finna get another win on my team ever again. Yeah. At the end of the season, he need to leave knowing, you won at home, but you got destroyed when you came to our house. That's how I want it to go. Yeah. Now, the analyst in me, based on how the offensive line has played the last few games, it's going to be a tough haul. It's going to be a tough haul. It's a very disciplined defense that rushes disciplined. They know how to squeeze the pocket better than most teams. Like the Bills this year against Mahomes and against some of the other mobile quarterbacks, they've done a great job at staying disciplined and squeezing the pocket and doing stuff like that. So, but the Patriots team is just on another level with it. What I've seen them do with Uche and Judon, I don't want to assume that our offensive line is going to play well enough for Josh to be able to do what he wants to do to that defense. And knowing that I can't rely on Gabe Davis to get me another 100 and some odd yards, and Stephon Diggs is going to be double covered. What do I really have offensively that I can depend on? Do I think my offensive line can be dominant in the run game? That Patriots defense is great against the run. So I think this is like y'all said, like this is another one of them games where you just got to do whatever you can to win. You just got to do whatever you can to get the W and put yourself in a position to lock up a playoff spot in Week 18.
Yeah, I would say it would be what I'm looking at for matchup wise though. I think that you kind of alluded to it with their corners. Their safeties are good, but the corners are suspect.
Right.
So I think it'll be. Our offense should not have a hard time scoring on them. But I think the bigger test is our defense trying to stop the Patriots' offense. I think that'll be the biggest test. Yeah. I'm not worried about our offense scoring points on them because I think we could do it in the run and the passing game. But I'm really worried about, can we stop this Patriot offense?
Yeah, they are going to run the ball.
Mac Jones had his best game against us. He had 272 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Long of 34. He only took 1 sack, no interceptions, and a rating of 126 as opposed to Josh, who went 27-41, 265, 6.5 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 sack, and a 90 rating. So that's got to be clean all the way up. So alluding to, I guess, going back to your question last show, that's more so what I'm focused on than anything else. That not happening again. And Mac Jones isn't playing. But we need Bailey Zappi to not look like this against our defense.
Yeah.
That's what I care about. We lost by 4 in a game where we shouldn't even been in the game.
Right.
Yep. I'm about to add a little spice to this thing now for the Buffalo Bills. We talked about trades and stuff like that for Stephon Diggs, but I'm gonna create some issues in the locker room.
Yeah.
How long should Stephon Diggs be content with sub 100-yard receiving games?
It depends, because I'm gonna go back to the team thing, to the team aspect, which he even said it out of his mouth. As long as we winning, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care.
That's what he say.
That's what he's saying. But we know sometimes what you say and how you feel is different.
Exactly.
Right? Now, to me, if I'm Steph Diggs, I know I'm an elite receiver. I got the numbers and catches to prove it, right? I got tape to prove how good I am. So I don't think he has to prove it anymore. Like, everybody knows he's a top elite wide receiver. I think more than anything, Steph want that ring. He want it bad. So to me, whatever it takes to get that ring, I think that's what Steph's looking for. So if it comes with, hey, I got 60 yards this game, 50 yards this game, but I get the ring, I think he's satisfied, he's happy. But of course, in a perfect world, he want the ring with a dominant performance.
Right.
Be like, yo, I got that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I mean, if you look at like shows like Shannon Sharp's podcast where him and Ocho Cinco be talking and some, you know, you hear players like Chris Clark. Is it Chris Clark? No, Ryan Clark. I'm sorry to say, like, if you hear players like that talk about when they played the game, anytime you hear a player talk about when they played the game, like, it's alpha males out there.
Yeah.
Like, they want to be the alpha of the alphas.
Yeah.
Don't none of these players out here want to go and have a conversation and talk about how, you know, they only got 60 receiving yards in the Super Bowl. Like, nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
They want to be the reason they won the game or the reason that something big happened in the game. Like, that's what these guys put the work in for, is to not just get the W, but be the reason that the W happens. Right? So, I mean, for me, man, so much of this is dependent on the culture that's allowed to be, and a big part of that is on Sean. But I think we have to kind of take a step back from that when we're talking about the offense, because realistically, Joe Brady really can't do much to change what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? He can't just change the offense and all of a sudden, you know, it's Joe Brady's offense and not Ken Dorsey's offense. Like, it takes too much time to overhaul stuff like that, right? So if I'm looking at it from that perspective, I'm saying, well, you know, I'll just ask y'all, is this a situation that y'all believe, based on what y'all know about and have heard about Steph Diggs, is this a situation where you think he's aware that because this is the offense this year, he may have to go the rest of the season with performances like this?
Yeah, I think that Steph knows what was going on wasn't working. I mean, they had some piss poor offenses when he was getting his numbers, and like Mel said, he wants a ring. He knows he's elite. He knows he's the reason. He's an alpha male. He knows, you know, he's double covered. He's bracketed. He's opening up the field for other players. He knows. So I think you said something just a second ago that kind of got me, where I'm like, I don't know, because there is a direct correlation of why he's not getting the ball and not at Dorsey's going, you know, and it's probably purposeful, and they talked to him about it. But to answer your question as quick as possible, the only time he's going to start complaining is when they stop winning. If they stop winning, if they peak at the divisional again, or peak at the conference again, conference, I'll let him. He'll be okay with conference, but divisional or wild card, he's gonna have a fit, and I don't blame him.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We got 20 minutes left. You gotta go.
All right,
okay. So this will be my last question, and then we can get to who you taking. Which defensive player? And this is kind of after the season, but I just want to see what y'all think about this. Which defensive player is most likely to be re-signed this offseason?
Our defensive players?
Mm-hmm.
Who's
you're talking about Micah Hyde?
Who's all up?
You're talking about Micah Hyde. You're talking about Daquan Jones, Leonard Floyd, Epinesa.
Is Oliver up, or he's good?
No, he's good.
He's good.
He just resigned an extension. That's. I mean, outside of the backups, that's it.
What about Matt Milano? Is he good?
No, he's good.
He's good. All right.
So obviously my answer is Daquan Jones.
Let me see.
I think we gotta sign Floyd, man. We got to. We can't let that dude walk.
We talked about this in the text.
Can't let him walk, man. He's balling.
Well, the thing about Floyd for me is, you know, and me and Aid, well, you were in the text too. We talked about it. Obviously, I would love to have Floyd back, but I think Daquan Jones would be the person that you could put more so next to a rookie, or obviously Oliver if he's healthy. You can go get you a bendy edge rusher. I think A was opposed to throwing a lot of money to him based on his age. And I kind of agree. Leonard Floyd was an anomaly. I did say in the text I would love to have him back, but what number are we looking at?
Right.
You know, that's my thing. I think Daquan Jones is an easier get because his position requires less athleticism, I'll say. And he can do it, as Linval Joseph has showed you, he can do it at a longer, elongated contract.
Agreed.
So for that reason, I think two things. I think one is easier to sign him because of the money, and two, I think is something that we need more so than the edge rusher, which I'm going to rely on McDermott not to give me another Rousseau, another Epinesa, another Boogie Basham. Give me somebody that can bend, somebody that Von Miller, if he's still here, can say, I can see myself in this kid, and I want to work with this kid. And that's how I'll work it.
Do you think he would demand a bigger contract?
Who, Floyd? The first double-digit rusher in the Bills since what, Mario Addison, how long ago?
Yeah. That was what, 4 years ago?
Even though his age and he know how much time he got left and the production wise.
32?
I mean, 32-year-old pass rusher in this league for a Super Bowl contending team can probably still make a decent buck.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look at the guys who were trying
to
get
he's not gonna demand like top dollar though.
No.
Yeah.
But even mid-tier for the Bills is still
15,
too high.
Yeah, 12 to 15 mil.
Considering the cap space we're going to have in 2024, like I don't want to give that all to him.
I could see him getting a 2-year, 30 mil or something like that.
Yeah, easily.
So we ain't got that.
Nah.
With the guarantee money, we ain't got that.
I would love to sign Floyd again, man.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I think like I said, realistically.
Yeah, that's kind of why I've been like set on AJ Epinesa, because in my mind, like you may not get the consistent pass rush ability that you get from Floyd,
right.
But he's a younger player, and now you've seen, just like Ed Oliver, and I said this in the text message, just like Ed Oliver has kind of blossomed this year into this playmaking, pass rushing like demon on the defensive line. AJ Epinesa has also kind of shown people like, yo, I'm here and I can play, and now I've got it all together. I put it all together, and now I'm making plays. I would want to see what he can do with an opportunity of more playing time. Another maybe 2-3 years or something like that to see. Okay, like just give Epinesa a bridge contract. Talk to him and say, look, we want to keep you here, but we can't give you the huge contract right now. Let's put you on a 3-year contract for an average of 14, maybe 15 mil a year. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's worth a little bit more than gambling on whether or not Leonard Floyd is going to have it at 33.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's doing it now at 32, and that's great. But as we've seen with Von Miller, there's only so long that you can really depend on him being
He's literally like an injury away from like coming back down.
Exactly, because once he gets hurt, it's over. After he's 32 years. Like think about if you I don't know, break a bone right now.
Right.
Like
your body not healing as fast.
Exactly. Yeah. He ain't coming back like that.
The only thing that gets me with Epinesa is isn't it funny? He balled out contract year. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Now, granted, like to Key's point, he hasn't had that snap percentage where he's on the field long enough.
Right.
Now that he has, you can see his production grow up. Also, you added Daquan Jones, Leonard Floyd, all these people on the line. But I just like, man, now that your contract is up, now you balling out because now you won't even want that paid. So I'm not so worried about it because, like you said, he's young, he's up and coming. But I just don't want to pay him, and then he goes back to the old AJ Epinesa. Like, yo, where's this dude at?
Right.
I got my money, I'm chilling.
It's a domino effect. I mean, Daquan Jones comes in. Ed Oliver gets better. What does that do?
Yeah.
Rousseau gets better because he's not double teamed. What's that do?
Yeah.
Now that alleviates the other side. So you got your Von Miller who comes in and softens up, usually, the left tackle, and then Epinesa comes in and spells him. Shaq Lawson's beating up on the guy Epinesa can. Yeah. I mean, Shaq Lawson honestly was a big get because he was that thunder and lightning to Epinesa.
Yeah.
Because he's beating the guy up, and then Epinesa just runs right past him.
Right.
And that's the beauty of having a low-cost player like Shaq, who I would love to have back. I guess that could be I wouldn't put him over Daquan Jones, but that could be an answer to your question as well.
I still think you can get Shaq for cheap though.
Yeah, another vet minimum.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
A little more. Yeah.
I think you get and then Daquan Jones. I mean, Daquan Jones is what 28, 29?
33.
Oh, he's 33.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I mean, you could probably get both of them for vet men.
Nah, Daquan Jones. No, he wouldn't make it.
No,
he wouldn't make it.
What do you mean he wouldn't take it? You don't think he would take the deal?
He wouldn't even get that far.
Why?
He's one of the best defensive tackles in the league right now. So
okay,
yeah, he wouldn't make vet minimum. No team would get that far.
If that's the case, then am I even going to be able to keep him at this point?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He'd be cheaper than trying to keep Epinesa.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why I picked him over him. But it's not going to be by much. But I think that he would give you more versatility for the other guys around him, which are the guys behind him. Bernard was a product of Daquan Jones. Milano, a product of Daquan Jones. There's four. He's a web of 4 or 5 different guys. You know, even if you got a safety coming up the blitz, that's him as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So you need that cog. And that what's the next question you got?
That was my last one. We got enough time to get to.
Well, that's why I want to answer Mel's question because
okay,
I know the starter, the trade.
Mm-hmm.
I would take either Davin Godshaw or Christian Barmore for Daquan Jones.
What? What?
That's it. Yeah, I would take one of them for Daquan Jones.
After what we just said.
And that's why I said. That's why I was like, "What's the next question?" That's why I said. That's why I said it like that. Because I'm like, wait. It's this perfect segue.
Yeah, I mean, it works.
So is Devin? God, is he?
Godshaw?
I haven't heard his name called.
He's a nose tackle.
I know. I haven't heard his name called that much though.
Oh, he's a force.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a force.
Yeah.
He's fast and he's big enough to take on a double team.
And Barmore is just as good.
Same.
I mean, he's just a backup.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
And you're looking at, like Ace said, about the 29-year-old versus 33. He's younger. Both of them are much younger.
Yeah.
Probably be cheaper because they don't have as much on film.
Okay.
And you got to think about it too. Any wide receiver that produces or played with Josh when Josh had a good year. I was on the team with Josh. Tremaine Edmonds blows up. Guess what? Daquan Jones. Guess who was behind me? Remember that dude that nobody heard about, Terrell Bernard? Guess who was behind me?
Right.
Who did that?
Right.
Ed Oliver just got paid. Who did that?
Right.
Rousseau's he's coming to his own. Who did and you can go down the line. Malcolm Floyd has a Leonard Floyd has a resurgence next to me. Right. Obviously he didn't play. He got hurt. But the thing is, that's the stuff that you market. Your agent's going to push that, and somebody's going to listen. And he's out of here.
Like he made your whole defense better.
Right.
This one asset made your whole defense better.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Who you got?
I would go. So I had 2, but
have it because I got 2 as well.
I think I would be more comfortable taking Mr. Andrews, David Andrews for Mitch Morse.
The center. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that. I mean, David Andrews is kind of up there too in age, ain't he?
Are these two brothers?
I was looking at that. Is Jake and
David and Jake?
I don't know.
I just saw it just now. I'm like, are they brothers?
David Andrews, 6'2", 300 pounds. He is 31.
Was that the same age as Mitch Morse? Because Morse is old looking, like 31, 32 maybe.
See, I can't see Mitch Morse playing another year, man. I think he's done.
I said that last year. I thought he was going to have another concussion. I'm not being funny at all. He's been one concussion away for a while, and he made it through. Well, knock on something hard, he's made it through the season.
Yeah. No, they're both the same age.
Who's that?
Mitch Morse and David.
Yeah,
Andrews.
that's what I thought. 31. Just a trade off.
Yeah. Who's your
My other one was the linebacker.
Ooh,
I like Bentley, man.
Juwan Bentley.
Yeah, wow. Man. I like him.
Who you giving up?
Any other linebacker not named Matt Milano.
Wow.
Even Bernard?
Terrell Bernard, you would give up for him? That's tough, bro.
Yeah,
That's tough.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue it, but I just can't do it. You talking to a guy who can't give up Stephon Diggs, and I mean, I can't do it.
So all right. So the reason why I say now, don't get me wrong, I do love Bernard, especially I didn't expect him to be this good.
People say it with your chest. If you want to give him
right?
up,
yeah.
No. I just want to put it out there that I didn't expect him to play this good.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know what I get on a consistent basis with Juwan Bentley, and he's only 27. So I know I got him at least for the next, 5 years. And to put him right with Matt Milano, man, our linebackers would be nasty.
I will say, in fairness, I don't know if you noticed or not, but they blitzed Juwan Bentley the most on their defense. He's the most blitz player they got. He's only got 4 sacks, but
now let me ask you this: do they do that because Judon is out? Like when Judon was playing, did he still blitz him too?
Judon was a blitzer, but no, I mean, I think it's just a product of their position.
Okay.
So that's just saying that he can get home. I do have the figures on that, but I can tell you they do. I think Anthony Jennings is the next closest one.
Okay.
And then you have what's the safety? Duggar.
Yeah, you got Duggar, Phillips,
Duggar should be third. But they don't produce a lot of sacks, but you got to watch out on Sunday where they come from.
Yeah.
I think my second would be Ramondre Stevenson for anybody not named James Cook.
I would take that.
I got a hard time because I haven't watched him. Like, I've seen his fantasy numbers, but I haven't had like a time to really watch him run. I don't know what his like strengths and weaknesses are.
Strength.
Yeah, he's strong.
6'2", 250 pounds. And
Is he a power or is he a mix?
No, he's a mix.
So he's like an Adrian Peterson.
He can catch too.
Wow.
He can catch
That's
too.
all I was going to say. The man can catch.
So you think if he's on a different team, he'll be way better?
Absolutely.
He's good there. No, he's good there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember he's in committee though.
Yeah, but and that's what I'm saying. I think to your point, I would say yes.
If
absolutely.
he was like the main guy,
yeah.
like
If he was on another team and he was their 3-down back,
he was a feature guy. Oh yeah,
he would be a household name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think I would take Kyle Duggar as a safety.
I like Duggar.
Yeah, I love what he can do against the run, and he's now shown instincts at the safety position to make plays. Like he did against Josh Allen. I like his size too. He's a bigger dude, and when he hits you, you feel it. You know what I mean? And I love safeties like that. So I would definitely take Kyle Duggar.
Who'd you trade?
That's the thing. Who do they need to trade? Like, these contracts are coming off now. Yeah, I mean, I could easily just trade him for Poyer, or I could just wait until Poyer expires and just take him. But yeah, if I had to trade somebody, I would trade Poyer for Kyle Duggar. I think those two players are relatively similar in the way that they play the game. Second player would be Bailey Zappi. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll take him for a backup. I'll take him for a backup.
I don't know if I want him as a backup.
You don't know yet?
Nah, I'm not.
You need to see more?
Yeah, I'm not sold.
Okay.
My second player would be Christian Barmore. To me.
Okay.
I like his pass rush ability a little bit more than I like Godshaw. I know Godshaw is like the bigger run stuffing guy. I love what I see from Barmore in terms of being a pass rushing guy that gets pressure up the middle. I think in a different system, if he was able to be just strictly a 3 technique, he would be another house.
That's why I'm going more towards Godshaw because of what you just said. And like I said, I agree with the pick, but I just don't want another Jordan Phillips.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I get what you're saying, but I think Barmore is about the same against the run as Daquan Jones, right? And I just want to see how big he is.
315. Now does that
6'4", 315? Like,
you gotta remember, Daquan Jones is smarter than that.
Now
that's what I'm saying.
Now does that mess with Keith? Because Keith got a thing for Alabama players. Does he?
Oh,
how does that? Is he okay?
You saw him take a deep breath.
The thing about it is this, and Junie, don't worry about it. We're fine. He like, I don't even care, Key. I'm numb. But yeah, the thing about when you talk about Daquan Jones and Barmore, it's just how they anchor. It's about how their technique is. And when people say something about Jordan Phillips, you're like, oh well, he could be a run stuffer. But what you said, Godshaw can't be a 3 tech.
Right.
He can only be a 1. Right. And I don't want that small forward shooting guard combination. I want that dude that dominates right here because we got Ed Oliver. We don't want him off the field. Yeah. We don't want a sub package. So,
real quick, can you explain to the audience what that is? Because it's how you line up on the if you line up.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, that's good.
You want it? You want it?
No, that's you. That's you.
Okay,
that's your department.
Okay,
no doubt.
That's your department right there.
Okay, so the 1 tech. It starts 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that goes from center. Head on center is 0, 1. All evens are right on the nose of the guy across from him. 1 tech is a guy that lines up between the center and guard either side. And what he does is he's going to try to attract the center and guard to block him, while the 3 tech, which is the smaller, faster defensive tackle, which is he can go 3, 5, whatever.
Yeah,
he gets a 1-on-1 and get to the quarterback. This is also the guy that you want that's going to plug up run lanes. He's going to usually take up, 2 gaps, which would be that when you hear me and they talk about running, where they ran between, that's the gaps. So did you run between the guard and center? You run between the tackling guard, so on and so forth, just to simplify it just a bit. So I think our biggest issue going into this, and we talked about before we got Daquan Jones, before we had the show as well, we always had all these 3 techs. We had all this speed, all these guys that wanted to get the quarterback. The problem was little big Tremaine Edmonds back there can't shed a block. He's not a real middle linebacker. Not a shade against him, but because people saw his size. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, he could do – that wasn't his game. And you alluded to, why don't you put him on the outside or move him, slide him over. But when you get that one take would have kept Tremaine Edmonds upright. And you look at when we brought in Daquan Jones, what did Tremaine do?
Right.
Had his best season. He got $72 million from the Bears. I'm sure they're glad they can get they wish they can get a refund off of this.
He did get a pick 6 though.
He got a pick 6, but Chicago's trashing him. They hate this dude. Well, they don't hate him, but they wish they didn't have him.
He's not. It's not worth the money.
Yeah,
all that money, like you could have got somebody better, or to contribute more.
And you listen to what he said when he went there. He said, "Oh man, I wanted to be a part of a rebuild." What does that tell you?
He wants the money.
They don't have a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
They don't have a franchise player. They got Cap. I'm going there.
They got the dough.
That's just an easy way of saying I know who got money and I'm going there.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, so I think for me, this is kind of maybe a little selfish because how I like to build my defensive lines, I like to have one guy that, is more specialized pass rusher, which would be my Ed Oliver. Mm-hmm. But I also don't love the idea of having a guy who's just a one tech, schematically, because I typically like to have guys on the field that can be there all 3 downs. I don't want my one tech to have to come off the field on a 3rd and 20. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think Christian Barmore being 6'4", 315 pounds, bigger than Daquan Jones, and has shown that he can be not just a really good pass rusher, but great against the run on top of that and getting penetration against the run. He's done it against us plenty of times.
Yeah, what is his? Not to say that. No, go ahead. I just want to see what his PFF grade is against the run.
So, for me, I think looking at a guy like that, I'm saying definitely a guy that can be on the field all 3 downs. Don't have to worry about taking him off because he can't get a good enough pass rush, which is the reason why people say that we didn't take Jordan Davis in the draft, and the reason why people were kind of a little sour on Jordan Davis to begin with, because you had to worry about his pass rush ability.
Which I never understood for crap. I never got that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 6'6", 340 pounds, like, you're going to push somebody.
Well, my thing is, if you watch the film, the man was, like, basically picking people up and throwing them out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, this PFF has Barmore at average run defense with a really good pass rusher. So I mean, there's merit in it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say no. Like I said, that was one of my picks. So I just think if I'd pick Barmore more so because I don't think there's any way in hell I'd get guys shot away from New England.
That's true.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let me get your backup then.
Yeah, but the segment is, who would you take? Like, I'm taking guys. So, like, if I really want to, I'm messing with you.
I'm about to sock Belichick out. I'm gonna sock you out.
Not again. You ain't about to box me into this damn question again. No,
when you wake up, you're gonna have Daquan Jones and no Christian Barmore.
You're gonna flip the whole table. Then we keeping Jones. Then. All right, folks, that's the end of the show. We have no more show. Our desks are ruined, and the set is no longer working. Okay. It's 8:01. You got to get going. All right. So let me get us out of here. Anything else before we run?
I was just gonna say, watch out. Like I said, I would actually listen to our first show on the Patriots, the offseason one, and I did all the things we got wrong about this season for the Patriots. I did mention Demario Douglas and their penchant for using Jalen Reagor in motion plays, handoffs, jet sweep, stuff like that with the speed that he has. So you want to watch that when he's on the field. He may get the ball. You never know.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson, you have to make sure you clean up the tackling. Make sure that you get hit your man, be disciplined in your spots, hit your gaps, and make him think twice about where he wants to run. And Bailey Zappi, blitz him or rush him early and often because he's not, as you said about what's his name, the guy from USC, I forget already. Miller, Miller Myers. You want to. Was it?
No. I'm just
you want to make sure that you confuse Zappi early and often. You don't want him to get comfortable sitting back there with what he sees. Make him throw the ball fast and indecisively. Other than that, just make sure that you don't give us a repeat of what we saw the first game in New England against our defense.
Yeah.
Score predictions.
I'm gonna say 26-21.
Ooh.
Bills.
I was gonna say 26-15 or 24-15. They'll go for 2.
I'm gonna say 27-17. Bills. 27-17.
I'll take that. That's a nice solid. You pushed them around. You did what you wanted to do. I'll take that.
I'll be here ranting on what we won't do is Monday because that's New Year's Day. I'll be here ranting on Tuesday about scoring more than 10 points.
Because we showed up said the same thing about the Chargers and we was dead wrong about that one. All right, let me see here. All right, folks, if you hear the music, you know what time it is. It's getting time to learn English again. Back in this brain again where I'm trying to figure out my tongue situation. With that being said, listen, let me take this time to thank everybody who's tuned in. We do as much as we can to give you guys as much news, as much information, and as much entertainment as we possibly can. And we realize the value of your time. So thank you for spending it with us. With that being said, if you have not done this already, please hit that subscribe button, make that thing.
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
And after that, go on to our Facebook page and our Instagram and our Twitter and our TikTok and all the other platforms that you go on. Find us at the Post Podium Podcast and hit whatever button you got to hit to make sure that you stick with us and see what we got coming, because I'm telling you, it's nothing but great stuff down the road that we got plans for, and that's on the way, and we're getting it ready for you as we speak.
When we hit 60 subs.
60 subs. Yeah, we was at 58 earlier today.
60 subs.
Wow. The growth is steady. I was watching a video on it today where they was talking about how steady growth is better than a viral video any day. And that's exactly what we've been doing. We've been doing this for, 6 months now? Just about, yeah. We started at the end of May. So 6 months, man. 6 months, 60 subscribers. Thank you so much. And of course, you know what that means when the music is starting to fade out and I'm still talking. I got another 90 seconds. So what I want y'all to do is this. On our social media platforms, we're on Spotify too if you want to follow us there. If you're ever on the go and you need something to listen to along the way, we're there too. We're still in the process of getting some of the older episodes up, but you can always go back and catch up and see, what we're talking about for other games and stuff like that. I think we're all the way up to. Anyway, it'll be up there. Go check it out. With that being said, on the social media platforms, let us know what you want to hear about if it's not the Bills, right? We talked about college football today. We talked about, a bunch of other stuff. If you like that, let us know. If you don't like it, let us know. If you want to say that kind of stuff privately, fine. You can hit us. You can slide in our DMs. You can let us know what you like there so that people ain't, stealing your thunder, or maybe you're just a shy person and you don't want to say it out loud. That's fine. Contact us any which way you feel like, and we'll get to it and we'll contact you back and make sure that we're keeping that dialogue open, because all we want to do is be great for you, the viewer. So, this has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all-true, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
Whiskey.
No, you're not.
And that's it, baby. We are out.